In ancient Egypt, an eclipse was not just an astronomical event. It was a rupture in the cosmic order. Texts like the Amduat describe Apophis, the great serpent of chaos, rising to attack the solar bark. During an eclipse, Egyptians believed he had reached the sun itself, threatening to plunge the world into darkness. Thoth was more than a scribe of the gods, identified with the moon and with divine wisdom. He measured the passage of time and protected Ra's solar bark during its perilous journey. In funerary texts like the Amduat, Thoth stands among the gods who cast spells to repel Apophis, ensuring that the sun would rise again after the darkness. On the zodiac of Dendera, we even see Isis holding back a baboon of Thoth, ensuring that the eclipse would not last forever. Her role was to guarantee that light and life would return. For the Egyptians, every eclipse was both a threat and a lesson. Chaos could strike, but with Thoth's wisdom and Isis's protection, the cosmic order Ma'at would always prevail. Among the oldest myths of Egypt is the struggle between Horus and Seth, a tale of power, chaos, and legitimacy. In the pyramid texts of about 4,000 years ago, there are already tales of Seth as the murderer of Osiris and of Horus as his avenger. Over time, in the coffin texts and the Book of the Dead, the story was expanded. Horus grew up hidden by Isis in a swamp, waiting to be able to claim justice from his uncle. In the contendings of Horus and Seth are narrated competitions such as transformation into hippopotamuses. The gods ordered Horus and Seth to be hippopotamuses underwater for 3 days. Isis, fearing for her son, created a magic harpoon. But in throwing it, he also wounded Horus. Forced by the error, Isis stopped the competition. In another test, Seth tried to impose his magic over Horus, but Horus managed to catch it with his hand, giving it to Isis, and she threw it into the water. Later, Seth ate from a lettuce plant where Horus had placed his magic. When the gods called upon each other's magic, it was clear victory was with Horus. In another of the tests, the gods ordered Horus and Seth to build stone boats. Horus made his of wood and covered it with plaster to make it look like stone. Seth, confident in his strength, built a boat of real stone. When they threw them into the water, Seth's boat sank instantly, while Horus's sailed without difficulty. For 80 years, Horus and Seth appeared again and again before the court of the gods. Shu, Jeb, and other members of the Ennead changed their minds, sometimes in favor of Seth, sometimes of Horus, until Osiris from the beyond demanded justice for his son. Finally, Ra recognized the legitimacy of Horus, and the balance of the world was restored. It was at some point in these battles that Seth mutilated the eye of Horus, which Thoth later restored. In Greco-Roman times, authors such as Plutarch reinterpreted history, seeing in Horus and Seth the eternal struggle between good and evil. Over the course of 3,000 years, the myth changed, but it always conveyed the same idea: the fragile balance between order and chaos. In ancient Egypt, a person was made of many souls, and among them, the Ver, a being of movement, emotion, and memory. The earliest traces of the Pa appear in the Old Kingdom. At first, it was the privilege of kings, the divine essence that could join the gods after death. But by the time of the coffin texts, its wings belonged to every soul. In the coffin texts, many spells describe the Baa's ascent, transformation, and journey with the sun, and return by night to the body. The Book of the Dead refers to it as the soul that comes forth by day. a traveler between the tomb and the horizon of Ra. One poem from the Middle Kingdom speaks of a man who argues with his own Ba, the restless part of himself that longs for eternity. It shows that the Ba was not just divine, it was the voice of conscience, the spark that sought meaning in a mortal life. The Ba was the breath of individuality. With two wings, it crossed the veil between worlds, and each sunrise was its homecoming. The ancient Egyptians imagined that, upon death, the soul passed through a silent threshold. And it was in the funerary texts of the New Kingdom that a great hall was first described, the space where the soul's fate depended on balance. In the Book of the Dead, specifically in the spell 125, this space is described as the Hall of the Two Truths. Two truths because the soul had to reveal itself as it had lived, and as the gods saw it. A trial not focused on punishment, but on protecting the harmony of the cosmos. And, for those who disturbed that order, the price was annihilation. The deceased, guided by Anubis, recited the negative confession, as attested to on papyri, such as the Papyrus of Ani. Before 42 divine judges, he declared what he had not done. He had not lied. He had not betrayed. He had not sown chaos. It was an affirmation of balance rather than a list of prohibitions. The most famous depictions, such as those on the Papyrus of Hunefa, show the heart placed on one side of a scale. For the ancient Egyptians, the heart was the seat of consciousness and memory. On the other side, there was neither power nor wealth, only the principle that held the cosmos together. Mahat. Thoth, god of wisdom, recorded the outcome, as illustrated in numerous funerary papyri. If the heart remained in harmony with truth, the deceased received a profound title. Ma Keru, true of voice. Only then could they follow the path to Osiris and be reborn into eternity. If the heart was heavy, burdened with disorder or falsehood, the images in the Book of the Dead depict the figure of Ammit waiting. The devourer did not punish, she simply ended existence. For the ancient Egyptians, the greatest fear was not suffering, but oblivion. In ancient Egypt, an enigmatic expression appears in funerary texts, Zep Tepi, the first time. It is mentioned in the pyramid texts and the coffin texts as a time before time, when nothing yet had form or name. They speak of Nun, the primordial ocean, an immense, infinite, motionless silence. And they say that, from that stillness, something began to emerge. A mound, the first piece of solid ground. In Heliopolis they called it the Benben, the place where creation could begin. There, according to Heliopolitan theology, Atum emerged alone, and from himself gave rise to order and the Ennead. But this wasn't the only origin story. In Hermopolis, creation was driven by the Ogdod, 8 primordial forces that precede the light. In ancient versions, the Ogdod gave rise to a primordial egg. From it was born the first light of the world. Later, another image gained prominence, a lotus emerging from the night water sand, upon opening, revealing the young sun god. And in Memphis, the Shabaka stone recounts that Ta created the world with his heart and tongue, thinking and uttering each being. Different cities, different eras, but all seeking to understand that same first time. In ancient Egypt, life was not defined by breath alone. It began with a force, unseen, silent, essential. The Egyptians called it the Ka. The Ka was the vital force of a person, the energy that made the body alive, and without which life could not exist. Texts from the Old Kingdom already speak of its concept as something placed within a person at birth. The Ka was believed to be created at the moment of birth, shaped by the gods, and bound to the individual for life. Often, the Ka was represented as a double, a reflection of the person themselves. Not a ghost, not a soul that wandered, but the living essence that remained close. Death did not end the Ka. After death, the Ka continued to exist, but it depended on nourishment. Bread, beer, incense. Offerings were not symbolic alone. They sustained the Ka in the world beyond. For this reason, Ka statues were created, ensuring the Ka would not fade, allowing life to continue in the Duat. So these were not acts of memory, but acts of survival. While the Ba could travel, move between worlds, the Ka remained. It waited, it endured, it sustained.